human beings, please give yourself the opportunity to breathe. Honestly, to breathe. You know, as an African woman, yeah, I mean, I've practiced all of these lovely breath things, you know, diaphragmatic breathing, breath of fire, which is Kundalini, breath of fire. You know, I've practiced a lot of these breathing techniques. But when you are in a tense position, it's like practicing all of those fancy breath techniques and breath work is foreign. It's really foreign. You're like, what? I must pant like a dog? Well, okay, I don't think so. So it becomes really hard to engage. Challenging to engage in those practices. You're like, oh, I'm not doing white people things, or I'm not doing Asian people things, or I'm not doing black people things, because we love judgment. I think the mind is constantly towards judgment. Yeah, the brain, I don't know, it focuses more on judgment and why it cannot do what it needs to do to heal or to help itself. But this is the nature of human. That's what I've come to understand. I've come to understand it in myself too. So I'm not judging you, honestly. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying. It's the nature of human. But I have a curious mind. I think it's because I'm an artist. I've always had a curious mind. That's why I've traveled a lot and try new things all the time. I try. It's a curious mind. But when we are in fear, when we are in survival mode, due to trauma, due to stress, due to change, which I don't know who is not going through change in this time and space, we tend to resist anything that would help us thrive. We tend to resist it. My drum has been my healer. Honestly, my drum has been my healer. I don't know what I would do without my drum. I'm over exaggerating. But yeah, I have a lot of drums, and I started drumming in Vegas, and honestly, the drum iskupu has truly been my healer since 2016. My drum has been my healer. When I beat that drum, everything else just stops for that moment. So, okay. Day 48, Integration Day. Opening all channels of wisdom. I have not turned my ear away from divine instruction. 5 days of examining how you resist the guidance across all life domains. The pattern is clear. Turning away from instruction keeps you trapped in dysfunction while maintaining the illusion of independence. Your resistance to guidance isn't strength. It's fear disguised as self-sufficiency. Okay? Every piece of wisdom you reject is an opportunity for growth you're postponing. Divine instruction comes through countless channels: mentors, teachers, books, circumstances, inner knowing, and the feedback of others. But your ego wants guidance to come only through channels it approves of, delivered in ways it finds acceptable, asking for changes it approves of. No, asking for changes it's ready to make. Real instruction rarely meets these conditions. Notice the common thread. Resistance to instructions always serve your ego's need to be right more than your soul's need to grow. You turn away from guidance to maintain current identity structures, avoid uncomfortable changes, or protect yourself from the vulnerability of admitting you need help. But this protection becomes imprisonment. Feel the weight of all the instructions you've turned away from across all domains. Notice how resistance to guidance creates stagnation in your body and in life. Now imagine opening all channels of wisdom. Say, I receive divine instruction from all sources. My growth matters more than my ego's comfort. Let's read again. Because I'm seeing myself here. Let's read. Okay, 5 days of examining how you resist guidance across all life domains, okay? The pattern is clear. Turning away from instruction keeps you trapped in dysfunction while maintaining the illusion of independence. Okay, please tell me who is not like this? The pattern is clear. Turning away from instruction keeps you trapped in dysfunction while maintaining the illusion of independence. Okay, why do we maintain the illusion of independence? Please put in the comments. Why do we maintain the illusion of independence? Because we've been hurt. Honestly, because when I see it for myself, I'm like, for the longest time, I was like, I hate people. Like, I hate the human race. I hate people. And then I had to kind of like change my perception and work on the belief. I just dislike people who are dishonest, who are liars, who are thieves, who are harming other people. I just dislike this level of consciousness. And I refuse to have anything to do with this. So it's not that I hate people. Because how do you live on planet Earth if you hate people? But for the longest time, I was like, turning away from instruction keeps you trapped in dysfunction while maintaining the illusion of independence. Yeah, honestly, I can tell you that I was living like this until I started going to the library and having a conversation with the library, until I started people at the library, until I started like literally engaging with people. Because honestly, I hated humans. For the past 13 months, I hated humans. But I'm honest about my truths, right? I'm not going to smile here and say, I like humans. No. That's why I just refused to do any videos or anything, because I was like, I hate humans. I hate them. Until I healed my own heart and I made choices within my own being and saying, I forgive myself. I forgive myself for not listening to my intuition. I forgive myself for placing myself in a situation where I didn't listen to my intuition, and in not listening to my intuition, this and this and this happened. Then my heart started thawing out. It like started feeling a little better. Most of us have been hurt here on planet Earth. I don't know who hasn't been hurt. Most of us do not trust. I don't know who can trust easily, especially after COVID. Are you kidding me right now? People haven't even grieved. Everyone has lost someone or lost something during COVID. We're 5 years into COVID, after COVID, kind of, you know? And if you're telling me that you fully trust and you are fully in love with humanity, you lie so much, you are dysfunctional. You live in magical thinking. These are some of the love and light people. They live in magical thinking. I'm sorry. I like to live in reality. There's levels of consciousness that I know I can live up to, but we have to meet each other at the level of consciousness where, we're at. And some days I'm at a level of consciousness of just like, I don't really like humans. I have conversations with God, this thing called God. For me now, I no longer refer to God. I refer to as the field. And I'm like, I don't understand why I signed up to come to this. This is just stupid ignorance. I really don't understand why I signed up for this. And then I got to look at myself and I'm like, oh, okay, it's my ego. It's my ego. And then I'm like, okay, I forgive myself. Because in forgiving myself, I'm like, okay, but I signed up for this. I signed up to come to the school, and the school is filled with humans, and sometimes these humans are just ignorant, and I'm just as ignorant at times. So if you say you have not been hurt, you lie a lot. You live in magical thinking. You live in delusions, illusions, lies, and confusions. Okay? So we get trapped in dysfunction while maintaining the illusion of independence. Why? Because we have been hurt. And no one gives us a way out of that hurt. This is why people become bitter. Have you seen these old people that are damn bitter? They're like bitter. They're awful. They are awful human beings. They're awful. I'm just like, die already. Just die already. Get off this planet. Die already. Okay. We shouldn't say that about the old people. Honestly, I really like old people. But I don't know. I'm just like, if you become that bitter, just die already. I mean, life is clearly not what you want to do. Just die already. You'll come back. Okay? It's not that big of a deal. I'm inspired by the old people that are just walking and doing their thing. That inspires me. The old people that don't want to do anything, that are just like, die already. Just die. Okay. I say these things because I fundamentally understand that there's no such thing as death. So these people are coming back. But if they die in this bitterness and this anger and this misery, these people are the future generation of leaders. So they're going to come back with this bitterness and this anger. So we really can't get out of this thing. So I guess we need to help the old people. I just refuse to help stupid old people. I refuse. Okay. Because of hurt. You can only experience so much hurt without having the ability or the tools or the knowledge to analyze that pain, that hurt, and process it and work it through your body and release the charge, the energetic charge around that pain that lives somewhere in your body. That's why I'm really focused on body work. Where does the pain live? Where does the joy live? Can you breathe into that space, that sensation on your body where you feel that pain? Breathe into that. The more I breathe into just my own heart around my ideas of pain, my ideas of betrayal, my ideas of sadness, I started dancing again. I just was sitting on the couch and I wasn't dancing, working, sitting on the couch, working on the couch. And the more I just gave myself 30 minutes to just breathe into that space where I felt pain, the charge released. The charge continually releases. The story changes just a little bit. And I started dancing again. I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy I'm back. Oh my goodness, just my dancing. Actually, I first started laughing because I was like, this is a joke. It's all an illusion. And I'm angry at like people who are not really that smart. Okay, I'm not really that smart most of the time. Okay, so this is an illusion. Okay. And then I started laughing at the things we do as human beings and how seriously we take this idea of life, Okay, we take it really seriously. Then we have heart attacks, we have burnout, we have depression, and all sorts of the stuff. And then we keep labeling myself. I have ADHD, I have PhD, I have all sorts of these labels. And then we live out these labels. And I'm just like, okay, the nature of human is really, really interesting. And I just started laughing at this. I think this was maybe like 4 months ago. I just started laughing. As a South African, we laugh at pain. You could find somebody dead, you're just going to laugh. Oh, wow, they did. And you start laughing because, I don't know, I think we've just been through so much pain. It's like laughter is our medicine, okay? Americans, you laugh at them with trauma, oh, they'll tell you you're very insensitive. I'm not insensitive. Laughter is high quality medicine. High quality medicine. Okay. It's been interesting. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is that most of us don't have the tools. We don't have the tools to process the amount of hurt we have been through as humans. Systematic hurt from our governments, hurt from our family members, hurt that we brought upon ourselves because we weren't listening to our intuition, hurt from our intimate relationships, hurt from our school systems, the medical industry. You know, we have so many micro hurts on top of micro hurts, and they build up and build up and build up. That's why you will see these old people, they are miserable. Because nobody gave them the tools. I think, like, I'm like thinking of my father, like, nobody gave him the tools of, oh, you know, you need to sit and breathe in through your nose and hold the breath and out. Nobody gave him these tools. My dad just knew how to work, make money. You know? My mom just knew how to cry. I can't take this crying thing. I can't take. I don't know. I think it's because I'm a Zulu woman, but I can't take this crying thing. It's just not for me. I'm just like, I don't like it. It's like, okay, you can cry, but then don't keep talking about it. Like, fix it. But if you don't have the tools, you spin. Because I know I was there. You just spin and spin and spin, and you keep thinking about the same thing over and over again. And you keep talking about the same thing over and over again. What you are doing there is your brain is trying to process and analyze the hell you are in, right? It's trying to analyze it, and it's literally trying to find a solution out. This is why we complain. I was in that for like from February till about August. I was just telling the same story like a broken record. I was telling the same story like a broken record, and I was like, okay, I've already told the story. Enough with telling the story. And now I need to go to the library. Now I need to change. But I've lived in change for so long, and I kind of enjoy change. So that's what made me push myself out to go to the library and start speaking to people and start engaging with people. I was like, oh, okay, she coming back online. She's back online. Okay. So moral of the story. The pattern is clear. Turning away from instruction keeps you trapped in dysfunction while maintaining the illusion of independence. Your resistance to guidance isn't strength. It's fear disguised as self-sufficiency. We all have fear. I have fear. I don't know who doesn't have fear. I just don't have fear of death, and I don't have fear of hell. So working on that, spending 3 years working on the fear of death and the fear of hell has really helped me a lot. Because now I'm thinking to myself, if I don't fear death, if I don't fear hell, okay, I can do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want. As long as I'm not harming other people, I can say whatever I want. Because I don't fear death. And I don't fear going to hell. Okay. But honestly, we all have fear. And I think the main thing with us as human is fear of death. Fear of death. And if you grew up in Christianity or one of these organized religions, you have a fear of going to hell. Okay, these are the two biggest fears, I think, of humans. And from these two fears, there is a lot of micro fears that live under these two fears. They affect how you think, they affect your body tempo, they affect your emotions, they affect your relationships with other people, they affect your finances. But when you really are in a fear of when I was having people come to my house like 12 o'clock at night, kind of like around about this time last year, October, November, in like September, October, November, I was having people come to my house. Full moon, they would come knock on my door, leave the island, we'll kill you, stuff like this. Yo, man, the level of fear that it's like I didn't even know where that fear came from. I thought, okay, the last time somebody tried to kill me, I was 17 years old. I'm 43. Why am I afraid now? But damn, man, the level of fear that flooded my body, I said, what? I had no idea. I had no idea that I had that level of fear around death. I thought, no, I'd work through this. You know, I went to therapy, I worked through this. But having those men come to my house almost consistently, and there was maybe like four to six of them, because they would come to my bedroom and then they would come to the other side of the house. And that level of fear was like, I said, no, man, this is apartheid fear. I didn't understand what's going on here. Like, how am I feeling this level of fear? I never thought that I felt this level of fear. I was living in a bubble in America. Honestly, I was living in a bubble. I lived in a very expensive neighborhood. There was no thing of anybody that is going to come and kill you. So I thought that living in the jungle was like the best thing, because nobody would come and find me, and I just needed to have my own space to just like kind of entangle myself from burnout and stuff like this. But like when those guys started coming to my house, I was like, no, man, this fear is something. And my husband wasn't in town. My husband had gone to America for 3 months. I am a woman by myself in my house. And I was like, wow, that fear. I said, no, man, I haven't felt this kind of fear. I used to sleep with a knife, okay? And I said, if these men come into here, one of us is going to die. But I'm telling you, I'm going to take one out with me if they come into my house. Like a huge knife like this. Like the knife would be sleeping. I was like, they better them come. And I had a statue of Osset, a bronze statue. I said, I'm going to beat them with the statue and stab them. I became real gangster, Zulu gangster. But when I started working through that fear of death, because when you fear death, you fear death. Oh, I'm going to die in a bad way. Somebody's going to kill me, or this and this and this. Oh, I'm going to die through sickness or stuff like this. When you can literally look at your fear of death, of how you're going to die, this is what we're really afraid of. Am I going to be raped and somebody slit my throat? Are they going to come and stab me while I'm sleeping? Those are my fears. They were insane. I was in a nightmare madness. Okay. Are they going to, well, I didn't think they were going to burn down the house, because then everybody would come and start smelling the fire. So I was really afraid that they were going to come into my house and stab me or strangle me or rape me. And so you start having all of these fears as a woman. Okay. Maybe men, they fear that if you fear death, you fear that you're going to die sad, alone, sick. This is a lot of men. When I'd speak to a lot of men, they were afraid that they're going to die alone. They're going to die. They're going to be sick. They are going to not have enough money to be in a hospital and die properly. Or if you are an African man who is living in a kind of a war zone, you're afraid that you're going to just die in a painful way, which maybe is being shot to death or something like that. We're all afraid. Once I started examining the fear of how I am going to die, and look at that fear and say, okay, if they come into my house and stab me to death, okay, I will go out with one of them. As soon as I started having these conversations with myself that, yeah, okay, I'm ready. Let them come. I have my Osset statue, which is bronze. I have my knife here. I will beat with my statue and I will stab. So I really had a plan of how I am going to go out. Okay. That released the fear. I said, oh, okay. After maybe they came maybe 5 times or something like this, and I realized the fear is subsiding. The fear is first time they came, it was really bad. Second time they came, I was in more pain, in more panic. Third time they came, I was like, I need to start working on this fear because I don't know when they're coming. Fourth time, I said, I'm ready for them. Fifth time, I was real ready. When I heard them coming down and they're starting speaking, I said, let me get up. I'm not turning on the lights. I just pulled the curtains. I said, I'm ready for them. They better come in here. I'm going to knock them out. Oh, the fear just subsided. Then I started thinking, but like, why am I really afraid of dying? I'm afraid of dying because I don't know where I'm going. I said, but that's not true. I fundamentally understand through quantum physics that God does not die. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So if it cannot be created nor destroyed, it means that if I die in this fear, I will come back and be reborn in the same family with the same traumas and the same kind of people trying to kill me. Oh no, that is not an option that I'm going for. It is definitely not an option that I'm going for. So then I had to sit with myself and say, okay, I need to get out of this fear of being afraid of death. If they come, I will go out with one of them. Great. Check. And because I know that I'm going to go out with one of them, I'm going to go out as a hero. Yes, heroine. So next lifetime, I will come back as a very powerful heroine Zulu warriors. Oh, that dissolved the fear of hell. And I fundamentally knew that most of the people who preach this, you're going to go to hell, you're a prostitute, you're a loose woman, you are this, they are stupid, number one. Number two, they are the ones in hell. And this is why they would speak this garbage out of their mouths. And number three, they're ignorant because they haven't transcended in the levels of consciousness to a high enough level of Christian mysticism. They're still dealing with this low level Christianity. And I said, but this thing has been holding me for how many years? 43 years growing up as a Christian. And those seeds that were planted in Christian churches in South Africa are still holding. I said, no. I'm not going to deal with that. So I had to work through that. We are afraid of death. Once you overcome your fear of death, if you are sick, let me go to the extreme, okay? You had a heart attack. Or, okay, heart attack is something. Let me say you've got a incurable disease. You got to talk to that disease. You talk to it. Disease, I know you're going to take me out. Let's have an example. HIV. You're going to take me out. It's not that you are going to take me out, but it's that my immune system is going to be compromised because I don't have medication. Or I'm afraid that medication, the little medication that I have is going to run out. And I'm afraid that we're not going to have enough medication in time. Okay? So talk to the disease. I know you're going to take me out. And see how you feel. Because now you're taking your power back from this illness. You are telling and having a conversation with this illness. You say, listen, you have no power over me. But you can't start there when your immune system is being attacked. When your immune system is being attacked, the best thing to say is, okay, I know you're going to take me out. Okay? But I'm going to go out with a bang. I'm going to go out so happy. I'm going to go out enjoying my life. You're not going to suppress my immune system to a point where I'm like sitting there miserable and all these things. But I know you're going to take me out. Now, what you're doing here is that you're not giving HIV power over you. You're like, no, I know what's coming. Death. Okay? I know what's coming. I'm not afraid because it's coming anyway. Death is coming whether you're healthy sitting here, whether you're sitting in a hospital, whether you have a car accident. Death is coming for everyone. But death is not real. It's an illusion. You're coming back. You are more than death. Death has no power over you. You are more than death. So have a conversation with that incurable illness. Cancer, whatever, HIV, heart attacks. Have a conversation with it and say, okay, I know you're going to take me out, but I'm not going to go out with a sad story. Okay? I'm going to live out my life and I'm going to enjoy my life. And when time for death comes, okay, I'll transition. But I'm not going to transition from a place of fear and sadness and depression. I'm so sick. I'm not going to transition from a place like that. I'm going to transition from a place of I'm living my life to the fullest. See how that transforms your fear of death and your relationship with death. Because I just shared with you, when people were coming to my house threatening to kill me, I said, I'm going to take one out with me. I'm not going out by myself. I'm going to knock them out, bam, and I'm going to stab it, bam. that transformed my fear with death. So if we work through our fear of death, and our fear of going to hell, everything else starts falling into place. Then all of the other anxieties and worries, they come to the surface. And then you can look at them. And then after I worked through my fear of death, I said, oh, I hate humans. Who gives somebody a right to come to my house? That's when my hatred for humans came up. Then I had to look at that. So it's not just a one-time finished. It's like, okay, start with the fear of death. Start with the fear and then go to the fear of going to hell. And then you'll start to realize that there are so many other fears associated with that. And so many other hurts associated with that. And stories associated with that. And once you can start working through that, everything else starts unraveling. Because once you're no longer afraid of death, you're no longer afraid of going to hell, you reclaim your life. And it can be really slow or it can be really fast, but you will reclaim your life. And no matter what illness you are dealing with, you can still shine with even in that illness. You can still be happy. You can still be joyful. You can still dance. You can still sing because nothing has power over you. Honestly, nothing has power over you. But the power we give it. And it is the fear. It is honestly the fear. Okay. So, I went on a tangent, but I had to tell you that fear of death is something. Every piece of wisdom you reject is an opportunity for growth you're postponing. Very true. Divine instruction comes through countless channels, mentors, teachers, books, circumstances. I just shared with you. Circumstance, fear of death, inner knowing, and the feedback of others. If you're not around people, really, there's really not much feedback. And if you limit what you watch on YouTube, there is no feedback from other people, okay? So what I've noticed about myself is when let me talk about myself, and maybe you can find your own story in my sharing, is that when you are in pain, you are in grief, you are in depression, you are filled with anxiety, fear of death, and all of this stuff, you close yourself in. So no kind of feedback can come in. Or the only feedback that you listen to, or the only information that you are willing to take in, is the information that confirms your current state of awareness. Your current state of awareness. So if you're depressed, you're going to go and watch depressed people talk about depression. Oh, my depression. Because it's confirming your current state of awareness. I didn't even know that that's how the brain works. It was so interesting to just watch my own evolution. I'm like, it's so difficult for different information to come in. Thank goodness I was reading my books. Thank goodness I was deep into Christian mysticism for a long time. And the only person, honestly, that I could trust was Joel Goldsmith. Because I couldn't trust anybody on YouTube. I couldn't. So this idea of trust, after COVID, I'm not really sure who trusts anybody. I'm not sure. Americans, I really definitely know that they don't trust. Africans, I'm not really sure who you trust. Asians, okay, just living here in Thailand, the past, 3 months, there's been such a change in government. How do people trust? It's a worldwide thing. It's a worldwide experience. We are low on trust. Low, very low on trust. We can't hear. Even if someone has really good wisdom for you, you can't hear it because you are blocked. I know it for myself, and I'm a very curious person. And I'm a very open person. But for 3 years, I couldn't trust anything. I couldn't trust anyone. All I could trust was myself and my breath. I said, as long as I'm alive, as long as I am breathing, as long as I'm just walking one step, okay, I could trust my husband. One step, so I can build my self-confidence, because my self-confidence was truly shattered. So when you are in extreme trauma, extreme pain, you can't trust. Grief, you can't trust. So give yourself a break. Okay? Give yourself a break. When somebody's trying to talk to you, and it's somebody who's done nothing to you, then I'm open. But if it's someone who has harmed you, it's very difficult to trust. And most of us feel that the government has harmed us, the medical system has harmed us, the education system has harmed us. We have a lot of stories as humans. We have a lot of stories. Lack of trust, which equals fear. Okay, so I'm just sharing my own. Maybe you can find your own story in my story. Okay, so divine instruction comes through countless channels, mentors, teachers, books, circumstances, inner knowing, and the feedback of others. But your ego wants guidance to come only through channels it approves of. I just shared that with you. Delivered in ways it finds acceptable, asking for changes it's ready to make. During my lack of trust time, I was listening to Joel Goldsmith. And there were times where I would listen to him and say, I don't believe that. I won't. I was arguing with my phone. I was arguing with my phone. And I've been studying Joel Goldsmith's work for 14 years. Okay. And Christian mysticism is really different from regular Christian stuff, right? It's really different. It's really challenging to the ego, really challenging to the psyche. And I've been on this path for a long time. And I'm like, no, I refuse that. There's some things that he says I still refuse, because my consciousness is like, nope, not interested. Not interested in that. I won't forgive. I'll forgive myself. You're allowed to have these kinds of conversations. You're allowed to have your own intuitive thought and say, no, that one I'm not interested in. I won't do that. I won't. Just because somebody is perceived to be a prophet or a preacher or a pastor or a teacher or a doctor or somebody who knows something about something, it doesn't mean that it's right for you. Everything that they say is right for you. I still disagree. I say, nope, won't do that. Won't listen. I won't. I won't. I won't. However, at times when I've been listening to Joel Goldsmith, I'm like, maybe it would be a good idea to listen to that again. So I will listen to something for a whole month, all night long. One thing or two pieces, 2 audio pieces, 3 audio pieces, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, until either I completely reject it and say it has nothing to do with me, or I start changing. What really helped is going to the temple and chanting the voice. It is so healing. Chanting is so healing. Singing is so healing. Because when your nervous system is dysregulated, when you are in survival mode, like trauma, and you don't know like what is safe and what is not safe, breathing is very powerful, and singing or chanting. Namyaho Renge Kyo, 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 Namyaho Renge Kyo. It's rhythmic. Yeah, just the chanting. It has a beautiful rhythm. When I was at the temple, we were chanting something else. I forgot. It's not that I forgot, but it's just too many words in Sanskrit. But we were chanting, and it's rhythmic. So it quietens the mind from overthinking. Because when you're overthinking, you're trying to find solutions to a problem that is, it seems big in your head. And it probably is, and you just don't have the solution to that problem yet. But if you don't quieten the mind or dance a bit, move the body. Dancing is so important. Moving the body, singing, the brain just keeps going, trying to find a solution. You can't find a solution with the same brain that created the problem, with the same mind that created the problem. So it's best to get into your body. Another way I've really understood with healing is the food we eat. Yesterday we went out with my husband, and we had this dessert. It was the first time I've had this dessert. It's like pancake, and they put Milo in the pancake, and they put a Kit Kat. So it was insane amounts of sugar. And then on top of that, I had a lychee drink, which is more sugar. Oh, when I got home, my body was literally buzzing. My husband just passed out, sugar high. And then he woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning from the sugar high. And I was like, this is not good. I woke up at 3 o'clock and I started thinking. I was like, oh, it's the sugar. If I have a good meal at home that I've cooked for myself, it's clean, it's filled with my prayers, because while I'm cooking, I'm praying over my food, I'm singing over my food, I'm dancing in my kitchen, which is high vibration. So my food is always high vibration. When I eat that and I have fruit instead of cookies and all of this stuff, I can sleep better. Once I'm on the cookie path, the sugar path, I'm up all night. 3 o'clock, clockwork, I'm up. I will usually do my meditations around about that time. And what helps if you have insomnia is lavender, essential oil, lavender. Just pour a bit of lavender on your pillow. It will knock you out. And the sleep is so good. Oh, lavender sleep is so good. Or you can drink chamomile tea. That will really help you. Okay, I went off on a tangent. Real instructions really meet these conditions. Okay. Notice the common thread. Resistance to instructions always serves your ego's need to be right more than your soul's need for growth. Yes, that is true. However, we've got to also look at the fact that a lot of us are traumatized. We are so traumatized. We're really traumatized. When my nervous system was completely dysregulated, you couldn't tell me nothing. Okay? Especially because I knew what was going on and I knew the people that were involved, and these people kept showing up as videos on my time feed, and I was like, you're not going to tell me nothing because you're trying to manipulate me here. You didn't tell me nothing. So for me, it was just like listening to trees, because I could see the manipulation. It was like, this is stupid. These people think I don't know what's going on here. This is stupid. So the only thing that I could trust at that point was my own intuition and talking to trees and my own chanting. And I was listening to Joel Goldsmith because he's a dead spiritual teacher. He no longer here on planet Earth. So he's not going to be manipulated by somebody who's trying to get me to forgive them. Never going to happen. Okay? So nobody could tell me anything. Still, nobody can tell me nothing. You turn away from guidance to maintain current identity structures, avoid uncomfortable change, or protect yourself from vulnerability of admitting you need help. Everybody needs help. Everybody needs help. But you need to be very discerning about where you get help. You need to be very, very discerning about where you get help. Because if you get help from people, some of those people will turn on you and require your whole life for the little bit of help that they gave you. They will require your whole life. My energy is too high. I spent 14 months just cleaning out my energy. I'm very particular about where I will get help. First, I need to get myself help by helping myself, so that whenever I show up to someone, with someone, I have something to offer that they need, and we can have a mutually beneficial exchange. If it's not mutually beneficial, I want nothing to do with these manipulative relationships. Honestly, I will watch countries collapse and I don't care, even though I know exactly how to help them, because I refuse to be in relationships where it's not mutually beneficial. I refuse. I know how a majority of these countries are going to end, because my brain works at that level. I can step onto the land of the country and I'm like, these people need this, 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 and this. When I was in Ghana, I was like, these people eat pepe. They eat there's no spinach in this country. I didn't see spinach. It was yams and fufu and bangu and fish and pepe. And I'm like, where are the vegetables? Where are the greens? Their body temples cannot be healthy when you're not actually eating greens. Where are the greens? Where are the microgreens? Okay, it's not bad. That's how they live in that part of the world. But I'm like, no wonder there's sickness. Not that South Africans are not sick, but in South Africa, at least we had a variety of vegetables like cabbage, spinach, potatoes, which we eat a lot of potatoes? In my home, a little bit. Carrots, but we ate a lot of spinach, salad. I never saw any of this in Ghana. I'm just like, do they not plant it? Is it just not available in this country? Or do they not know that this is a very important part of your diet? It was really interesting. No judgment. I'm just speaking my observations. What is, like, America is all processed food, right? So when I was first in America, I just like realized, oh, this is all processed food. Okay, I need to juice. Every week I used to go to Costco and buy packets of organic spinach and celery and jalapeno peppers and green apples and cucumbers, and just I would literally drink a liter of green juice every single day. A liter with some ginger. I tried to get my husband on this diet. He was like, I want nothing to do with these greens. I said, suit yourself then. Get sick. Has nothing to do with me. Suit yourself. I don't force people to get healthy. I allow people to live out their illnesses. It's just a problem when their illnesses now start affecting me. But I don't force anybody to let your consciousness evolve at its own time. I'm very respectful towards people's consciousness. I just don't want that dysfunction in my world. It's a bit of a problem when the dysfunction becomes a part of your world. But this is what we are living in as humans. We're all living like this. Respect other people's conscious growth. Respect it. I've learned, my husband has taught me, he will just say, I don't want this. And I'm like, but you're going to get sick, and now that's going to be my problem. My problem. Okay? But he has taught me very well, you can't force people to grow. You can't force people to eat what they don't want to eat. You cannot force people, because the soul needs time to mature. So you as a visionary, you as the person listening to me, continue with your thing. If you like your yogas, do your yogas. If you like your dancing, do your dancing. If you like to eat your green foods and your green juices and drink your teas, do you, boo. Just do you. Maybe they'll follow. And even if they don't follow, it's okay. Next lifetime, they'll come and read you again. Death is not real. It's an illusion. The soul needs multiple lifetimes to incarnate so that it could get these lessons. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Okay? So, so let's do our embodiment practice. Feel the weight of all the instructions you've turned away from across all domains. Notice how resistance to guidance creates stagnation in your body and life. Okay? I can tell you that is truth. A lot of stagnation. But once I started moving my body, other things started changing. So move your body. Please move your body. Today I danced to Ethiopian music. I felt so good. I said, oh, Africa. Okay? So move your body. Move your body. Don't let not your body move only during times of sex. Because I don't understand. Yes, that is creation. Having sex is creation. You are going to create a child from this stuff. And most of us cannot afford to have these children. Honestly, we can't. We can't afford these children. The school fees is very expensive. The medical is very expensive. First, let us raise our consciousness, our abundance consciousness, and then have children so that these children don't stress us out. Their school fees are not stressing us out, because then we become horrible parents. We become horrible parents because we're stressed out financially, we're stressed out in our relationship, and we're stressing our children out with problems that have nothing to do with them. You chose to have sex and bring these children into this world. So why is it now your stresses must become your children's stresses? Your children didn't ask for this. Okay? So move your body through dance. Move your body through exercise, yoga, lifting weights, running, doing whatever you makes you feel alive in your body. Today, just dancing to Ethiopian music and I said, joy, I feel alive. I am alive. You're allowed to be happy. Let not your body only move during sex. Move your body through other means. Walking, if you don't like dancing, just go out for a long walk. Feel better. Go out into nature. The malls are what we know. No. Nature, please, human. Even the white man that I'm living with went out into the sun today. I said, whoa, my prayer is being answered. Okay? So if a white man can do it, black people can do it, Asian people can do it, Hispanic people can do it. It's not a big deal. Okay. Notice how resistance to guidance creates stagnation in your body and life. Now, imagine opening all channels of wisdom. Say, I receive divine instruction from all sources. My growth matters more than my ego's comfort. Okay, this is where we get to talk about 10 minutes. We're going to talk about our intuition, and this is what we're going to do today. Intuition. Your intuition is always your intuition is always in communication with you. It's just that we don't trust our intuition because fear is louder than the intuition. So the Christian will call it the still small voice, right? The Holy Spirit, the still small voice. In Buddhism, they just sit down, shut up, and meditate. And as you are chanting, it quietens the mind. And then when you start to meditate, there's a lot of thoughts that go on. Oh, I'm going to harm that person that way. Oh, I have to pay this bill. Oh, I'm so worried I don't have enough money. Oh, my husband, my wife, all sorts of these things. Eventually, the longer you spend time in meditation, the quieter the mind becomes. Then you can start hearing your intuition. And then the challenge is the courage to listen to your intuition. Because we have so many voices. The voice of your mother, the voice of your father, the voice of your grandmothers, the voice at your churches, the voice at your synagogues, your temples, the voice of this monk, the voice of this YouTuber, the voice of this Instagrammer, the voice of this Twitter person. It's too many voices. So nobody actually even knows what their own voice sounds like. That's why when I'm helping you with your breathing meditations or breath work, I'm like, hear your own voice. Learn what your own voice sounds like. When I'm doing my mindfulness mentoring sessions with you, I'm like, find the sensation on your body and talk to that part of you out loud. Because most of us don't even know what our intuition is saying because we've got so much negativity. Negative people in your life, Instagram, YouTube, and these people on Instagram, YouTube, they're all following each other. They don't know what they're saying, if it's real. If you really put them to a stress test, they wouldn't be able to function. Honestly, they would break. Most of these Instagrammers and stuff like this, especially these young ones, I'm like, oh, if you literally actually went through a real stress test, you would break. You're too young for this. You think you know. You don't know. Life will teach you a thing or two. And so most of us are following somebody who is learning from somebody else, who is following somebody else, and we don't even know what our own intuition is saying. We don't even know if it's right or wrong for us. Who said taking protein powder is good for you? Maybe, vegan protein powder is good, but you're taking whey protein powder because you're seeing everybody online taking whey protein powder. Who said vegan lifestyle is good for you? Maybe it's not. Maybe vegetarian lifestyle is good for you. Maybe eating meat is good for you. Maybe eating fish is good for you. But we're all watching somebody else and we're not even asking our own body, is meat good for me? Is fish good for me? No, yes, my mother said it's good for me, but is it really good for me? I don't know. We don't know what our intuition is saying because we're all listening to other people. I have a habit of fighting with YouTubers while I'm listening to their videos because I fundamentally understand my own intuition now, and I'm willing to fight with YouTubers on YouTube. I don't fight with them by sending bad comments and stuff like that. I just fight with them on YouTube. I'm like, no, wrong, because I know what's right for me and what's not right for me. So I encourage you to listen to your intuition, and your intuition is on your body. You can feel when something is right for you. And then the mind will play tricks and say, oh, but maybe I'm just overthinking it. Oh, maybe I'm just overthinking it. I know I've been there before. Now, when my body says it's a no, it's an absolute no. I do not negotiate anymore. Okay? So today, I was just like, for us to get into our body. What are we going to do? "15 minutes.